Oh, shoot, Lucy. Is this Unfathomable?
Oh, yeah.
This is really hot right now. Do you know that?
Well, I hope so.
Yeah, I'll buy it off you for $6.
No. Nope.
Damn it. Let's talk about it. What does that even mean, Bauer's Game Corner? Ahoy there, YouTube! We're back again today for another Thoughts from the Corner. I'm here with my good friend Lucy.
Hey!
And we are talking about one of the hottest games on the planet right now. That is Unfathomable for Fantasy Flight Games.
Nailed
a
it.
game of hidden loyalties and suspicion for 3 to 6 players. It take it 2 to 4 hours to play. And it's for ages, I don't know, 14 plus. And this is a semi-cooperative game that is based, so essentially... This
reskin of Battlestar Galactica, that's the term.
That is the word that I'm looking for. Yeah, so Battlestar Galactica was originally released for Fantasy Flight Games. It was immensely popular. People loved it. There was blood on the streets. There was expansions. But then they lost the rights to do it because, you know, Battlestar Galactica is Battlestar Galactica. They're like, well, we're not going to lose this awesome game because it was a spectacular game. And so they put it into Unfathomable. And it is the same basic premise, but with a couple interesting things mixed in here. You're now on a cruise ship, and there's going to be these big old monsters. Yeah, a whole bunch of them. These are the big ones, and then these guys are going to be coming on there, trying to ravage you and murder you. But all the while, this is not a cooperative game where everyone is working together to thwart the monsters. It is a semi-cooperative game where you will have at least one bad guy.
Yep, at least one, because during that whole time we're going to be having like loyalty cards passed out throughout the whole game. There's going to be twice as many cards as there are players. First time around, you're going to get your loyalty card. Maybe you're evil, maybe you're not.
You could have no bad people at all at the beginning of the game.
Oh yeah. And then second round, things happen. Then yep, your second loyalty card gets passed out. Then you can become evil all of a sudden. Or maybe you got both evil cards if you play at higher player counts. And you're like, oh, whatever.
And if you're interested in exactly how the gameplay plays, I'm not even going to try to break it down. It was a 45-minute how-to-play video by Rodney, which I thought was very well done.
Oh, yeah, and also the game comes with, in case you don't want to, like, watch it, it comes with, like, 2 different rule sheets. One is a rules reference, which you're starting to do with Final Fantasy. They'll have a rules reference, and then they'll have a how-to-play, which will literally take you step by step, if it's your first game, on how to do everything. And
I want to mention, we played a 4-player game of this. You did read the rules, though, correct?
I read the rules on my own time, just to speed things up if things were questions.
Oh yeah, if you read them here, I'd be like, what's your deal, Lucy? This is terrible. It'd be like 6-hour game. What did you think about the rules, though, before we get into the gameplay?
I think the rules were pretty simple. Like, again, like, the guide itself does it literally...
They're well done?
Does you, like, step by step. Like, if anything, you could follow along with even, like, Rodney's things, and it very well closely followed that.
Okay. And the basic, and here's the bottom line. Once you know all the bells and all the whistles and all the moving parts and all the different phases, it really is simple. On your turn, you're going to take 2 actions.
Intuitive, yeah.
And one of them's moving, and then generally one of them's doing something else. You're going to be fighting monsters, trying to rescue passengers. But the big thing is, you have 4 tracks that are going to keep track of your fuel, your food, your fury, and your fighting. I don't know.
Sanity and actual people who are necessary to the ship. So there's like several, like a classic game like this, there's several ways to lose, but only one way to win. The one way for the humans to win is to, you have your dials right here, which like helps your ship out. You also have monsters. If there's too many monsters in the deep, you automatically lose. If your ship gets too much damage on it, you automatically lose. If any of those dials, any one of them, goes to 0, you automatically lose. But if you're able to get to 12 wayward points, and then cross the ship again to Boston, then you win as a human.
Yes, and there's so much we're not even talking about here. Everybody's got their own asymmetrical special abilities. Everyone's got one-time-per-use special abilities. Everybody's going to start with their own unique card. There's items you can pick up. There's
different pools you can pull from, essentially. So, like, I say, like, oh, there's, like, a lot of, in this Chaos deck or whatever, there's, like, a lot of, hearts or head. Like, oh, Alan, our character has, like, it's a lot of head.
I don't even know if that's PG.
Gets a lot of...
That was a wrestling reference. If you got it, you better leave a like on this one.
Wrestling.
We're not going to get too much into the weeds of it, though.
Yeah.
You can go watch Dan King's excellent overview video if you want to see exactly how much it is. This is the thoughts, and Lucy's going to have an interesting opinion because she has never played Battlestar, and I am a huge fan of Battlestar, like in my top probably 30 games of all time. Let's start with you, Lucy, because you bought this as well, which means you got skin in the game. What'd you think after your first gameplay?
It was really fun. I was excited for it. I always hear about, like, Battlestar Galactica. You always hear about it when you get into the new stuff. It's like, oh yeah, it's a legendary thing. Never had a chance to play it. either like it didn't get out on the table or nobody owned it, because it is now a really hard game now.
Or
about,
you
like,
have a crappy host.
$300. Yeah.
Who does own it, but we just never played it.
Who makes us play different games.
We've only been coming here for like, what, 6-7 years? Something like that.
Never played it. And so this one, it fits my theme. I love the Arkham Horror universe and everything. I play Arkham Horror, the card game that they do, and like having them reskin it, it's perfect for me, because I never really liked the sci-fi anyways. So this is perfect for me.
So you are happy with the purchase?
Yes, it is a big purchase. It is $80.
Okay. Wait,
but
on Kickstarter nowadays, that's not even that bad.
But like Battlestar Galactica is $300, so.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a tough item, and that's just the base game alone, not even the expansions.
Okay, so what did you dislike? I do want to know that.
The one thing that I did kind of dislike was, I guess it was more of my situation I was in, because like during this time you're going to be overrun by monsters, continue to overrun by monsters. So half the time you kind of feel like your turn is literally fighting a monster, and they're going to attack you their turn. So it's like, oh, I'm in the sick bay, and I get to draw one card. And I'd have to contribute cards to help my team.
That is not something that was typical to Battlestar Galactica. And I will completely agree with that. If you go out and you start fighting stuff, chances are by the time it gets back to you, if you don't kill everything, you're probably going to end up in sick bay, which means you're going to draw one card. And typically, I don't remember being in sick bay that often in Battlestar Galactica. I will agree. And I'll be honest, to start off the game, I was like, this isn't my Battlestar. This isn't my Battlestar. But it grabbed me by the end, and I ended up really enjoying it. There's some really cool ideas here. We didn't play with it. We played a 4-player game. But there's like a cultist, because it has a similar ebb and flow to Battlestar Galactica, where you essentially have to make jumps, but in this, it's like your ship is, pushing forward.
Yeah.
But I will agree with you. There were some times where it's like, all right, this is the move. You need to make this move. If you don't make this move, we're going to throw you in the brig because you're going to look super guilty.
Yeah.
And that's not the most fun. That doesn't allow you to,
explore.
Yeah, game yourself out of it. And actually, that's what Alan was kind of complaining about a little bit, aside from there was the RNG.
There is RNG that can literally cripple you. Like, for our first turn, when we're playing with no traders,
Let's take a timeout.
Yeah.
I want to mention one thing before you go into the story. The one thing that I love about Battlestar Galactica, and I think I will say I love about Unfathomable. I love it. I do. I mean, I love Battlestar, and this does. I don't know if it replaces it for me. I have to play it again, but I like it. But there are two very cool rules in the game, where one person is going to be the keeper of the tome, which I don't know anything about because it wasn't me, and then one person gets to be the captain, who's like the super most awesome person on the ship, like I was. Yeah. And you have immense power in the captain. I don't know about the tome as much. The
tome is essentially more geared to fighting monsters, but you can see, like, for example, when our friend did it on his turn, it usually cost something. For example,
that's when he did the big move.
Yeah, he cost a sanity, or like a fuel, or a fuel. So they're good for fighting monsters. So essentially, like, you are the boat person, he's the fighter of monsters. Okay.
But what I'm getting to here is that role can change throughout the game, which I think is about what you're about to talk about, how Alan got shafted.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, like, he started with the Keeper of the Tome. Yep. And this is when we're doing our first game. No one has loyalty cards. It's our first game playing this, so we wanted to do
First round, yeah. So that's what they recommend in the rules.
First round, no traders. But even before his first turn, he not only did he get bombarded because of the chaos deck, but literally he lost all his cards. He went to the sick bay, so he couldn't draw any more cards. Yeah. And he had to give up the Keeper of the Tome, which his character depended greatly on that.
Yes, his character was based around that, which I will say is really awesome because the asymmetrical, like there's a good chunk of characters.
There's like a lot of characters. There's one who's good at fighting, like really good at fighting. There's one who's like really good at
stuff.
Other stuff too, like fighting. Mine was good at like moving the ship forward.
Oh, I want to shout these out. Oh my gosh, these
player references cards are great.
Oh, they're so good. Look at the amount of information on this player reference card. This is what I want. Every player reference card that's over 90 minutes to have. Period. Like it's fantastic. It made it so much easier to use. And in case you're wondering, because I imagine this is a question a lot of people are going to have, I felt like the theme fit onto the game very well. It does not feel slapped on. It makes thematic sense. Like, oh, the boat is moving, so now these guys are moving one space back. Everything worked pretty smoothly. It's still a lengthy game. You need to know that going into it.
Yeah. RNG can cripple you a little bit with this.
But it's still... but final thoughts.
I love this game. I will ask you this, because you own Battlestar Galactica.
I do.
Would you also buy this?
No.
I mean, I own it, but yeah.
I would not, because they scratch very, very similar itches.
Yes.
Like, honestly, if I were to sit down and play both of these in an afternoon and then pick my favorite, I don't think it would be just a landslide one way or the other, unless we're talking about when you mix in expansions for Battlestar Galactica, but I don't think that's really fair.
Yeah.
But I'm going to do it anyway. So, yeah, I'd say Battlestar for now, but with another big box expansion, I could see this surpassing Battlestar for me. No doubt about it. Because it is, I didn't feel like I was missing out on anything, even though I will agree with you, sometimes you have turns that just aren't the funnest, but they're still fun, though, because once you get to that final phase where you draw a card, then everybody has to put cards in the middle of the social deduction phase, that's always entertaining. That's always interesting. That's always tense. You know, there was like a big, like, a moment where I was just like, I'm just going to throw all my cards down.
And everybody had given up, and you was like, I'm going to pass.
I'm going to win this whole damn thing. And then with some help from that mystery deck, was it? Yeah,
it was literally just because of the mystery deck.
I love this game, and I would love to play it again.
Yep, same.
So,
this was fun.
Unfathomable. While I would not recommend it if you have Battlestar Galactica, if you do not, have at it. It's a hell of a lot of fun. Nice purchase, Lucy.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Yeah, that would suck if it sucked.
I'd be sad.
But that is Unfathomable for Fantasy Flight Games. If it looks like it might be your cup of tea, be sure to check this one out. If you're enjoying what we're doing, please be sure to click on that subscribe button down below. I'm trying to reach 9,000 subscribers this year. Also, with the comments below, let me know what theme would you like to see a social deduction game wrapped around? What IP would you like a social deduction game wrapped around?
I mean, I'll be honest, it's literally Cthulhu.
Cthulhu? There's
like
8 of those already.
I want more.
You want more. I want more Cthulhu games. Said no one except for Lucy. That's why I love you.
That's why I bought it. I bought, what was it? Pandemic Cthulhu version.
That one's good. I like that one.
I bought, what was it? Love Letter Cthulhu. Yeah, no. I bought Flux Cthulhu.
Okay. That's Lucy's
I have
jam.
my theme. I guess Sherlock Holmes. That's about it.
That's like a lot of those too. But I don't think social deduction that much. For me personally, I want a Survivor themed.
Survivor.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Like a large group social deduction game.
Oh, like what was it? Lord of the Flies.
Yeah. Well, let me know in the comments below. What do you want? As always, thanks for your time, YouTube.
See you guys.